Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. I parked my car quietly in the driveway, the engine's purr fading into the soft chirping of the suburban twilight. Coming home early was not the norm for me, but today, an unexpected cancellation at work granted me a few spare hours. The sun hung lazily above the horizon, casting long shadows that danced quietly across the lush lawn. As I approached the front door, a faint murmur of voices seeped through the slightly ajar window, an unusual occurrence given that, at this hour, the house was typically silent. Curiosity piqued, I edged closer, pressing my ear against the cool glass. My wife's voice, usually so warm and familiar, carried a different tone, laced with excitement and secrecy. "Come back tomorrow, he won't be home," she whispered, her words slicing through the calm air like a serrated blade. My heart thudded heavily against my chest, a mix of disbelief and dread pooling in my stomach. I steadied my breath, schooling my features into a mask of normalcy before pushing the door open. "Honey, I'm home." My voice echoed through the halls, feigning cheerfulness. She emerged from the kitchen, her smile bright but not reaching her eyes. "You're early. Everything okay at work?" "Yeah, just finished up sooner than expected," I replied, watching her closely. We talked and laughed over a quiet dinner, but the seed of suspicion had already been planted, festering in the back of my mind. The next day, I left for work only to circle back stealthily after an hour. The street was empty, the neighborhood wrapped in the mid-morning quiet. As I neared the house, a strange car parked out front sent a chill down my spine. It was my brother's. Why would he be here if not for? I slipped in through the back, the house ominously silent as I approached the living room. The sight that greeted me was like a physical blow, stopping me dead in my tracks. There, entangled in a way that left no room for doubt, was my wife and my brother, his hands on her as if he had every right. The betrayal cut deep, a wound far worse than any physical pain could mirror. Frozen by the shock, it took me a moment to collect myself. My presence unnoticed, I backed away, the images seared into my memory. This was a betrayal not just of marriage but of brotherhood. The following days were a blur of rage and cold planning. I consulted the best lawyer, gathered evidence without tipping her off, and prepared my revenge. She thought she had been clever, sly even, but she underestimated the depth of my resolve. By the time she realized what was happening, it was too late. The divorce papers were served coldly, with precision, and my terms were non-negotiable. I took everything from her, the house, our savings, leaving her nothing but the guilt of her betrayal. The finality of our divorce was a relief, a purging of festering wounds. I walked away from the courthouse, the chapter closed forever. My brother, now a stranger, and the woman I once loved were out of my life for good. The road to recovery would be long, but at that moment, I knew the hardest part was behind me. The morning after serving the divorce papers was eerily calm. I woke up early, the dawn barely breaking, and for a moment, the weight of my decisions hadn't yet settled in. I sipped my coffee, staring out the kitchen window, the neighborhood still asleep, unaware of the storm brewing under its serene surface. My phone buzzed, a message from my soon-to-be ex-wife, Jenna. Her tone was a mix of confusion and desperation. "Can we talk?" "Please, I can explain everything," the text read. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the delete button before deciding against it. Instead, I typed back, "Meet me at the park in 30 minutes. If we were to talk, it wouldn't be within the walls that had witnessed her betrayal." The park was quiet, with only the sound of early birds and the distant hum of traffic. Jenna was already there, sitting on a bench, her posture defeated. As I approached, she looked up, her eyes red-rimmed, a stark contrast to her usual composed appearance. "Why, Jenna? My own brother. How could you?" I asked, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. She wiped a tear from her cheek, taking a deep breath. It was a mistake, a terrible mistake. I don't know what I was thinking. It just happened. Just happened. I scoffed, anger bubbling up. You don't accidentally end up in someone's arms. And to plan for it again, right under my nose. What did you expect? I'm sorry, I truly am. I thought it was just a fling, it wouldn't affect us, she pleaded, reaching out her hand only to pull it back as I stepped away. A fling? I repeated, my voice rising. With my brother. You destroyed our marriage, Jenna. And for what? A fling. She looked away, unable to meet my gaze. I know you won't believe me, but I love you. I never wanted to hurt you. Too late for that, I said flatly, turning to leave, then stopped. I want you out of the house by tomorrow. I've arranged for your things to be packed up. Don't worry, your essentials will be left untouched. Jenna's face fell, her voice barely a whisper. Please, don't do this. Let's try to work things out. This, I gestured between us, is beyond repair. You made sure of that. With that, I left her there, her sobs fading into the distance as I walked back to my car. The plan was set in motion, every detail meticulously calculated. Her betrayal would cost her everything, just as it had cost me the semblance of a life I thought we had. As I drove away, my phone rang. It was my brother, probably catching wind of the proceedings. I let it go to voicemail. He and Jenna were now just ghosts of a past life, and I was already moving forward, the gears of retribution turning steadily. I knew this was just the beginning, and the real challenge lay ahead, ensuring that justice, however cold, was served. The morning light filters through the blinds as I drive to the office, the weight of yesterday's confrontation sitting heavy on my chest. Despite Jenna's pleas, my resolve remains firm. The reality of our disintegrating marriage now public, whispers and pointed looks follow me even into the workplace. I settle into my office, trying to focus on the spreadsheets before me, but my phone vibrates relentlessly. It's Jenna again, but this time, I ignore her messages. Instead, I'm surprised to see a text from an unknown number. It's a picture of Jenna and my brother, together at some event, looking too close for comfort. The anonymous sender has just added fuel to the fire of my resolve. Before I can process this further, my office phone rings. It's the lawyer confirming that Jenna has been served the notice to vacate the house by the end of the week. Everything is proceeding as planned, he assures me, a cold comfort in the storm of betrayal. Later that day, as I leave the office, I decide to drive by the house. I need to ensure that Jenna is packing up as agreed. As I pull up, I see her outside, frantically speaking with someone on her phone. She spots me and hangs up abruptly, her face a mask of strained composure. Everything okay? I ask, stepping out of my car, feigning concern. She nods, clutching her phone to her chest. Yes, just sorting out where to go. I nod, looking over her shoulder at the boxes piled by the door. Make sure you're out by tomorrow. I won't ask again. Her eyes well up with tears, but her voice is steady. I will be. I've already arranged for a place. As I turn to leave, a car pulls up. The driver is my brother, Mark. He gets out, his expression one of confusion and anger. Why are you doing this, man? We need to talk. There's nothing to discuss, I reply without looking at him. You both made your choices. Mark steps in front of me, blocking my path. It wasn't just Jenna. I'm at fault too. Let's try to sort this out, like a family. This stopped being a family the moment you betrayed me, I snap, the bitterness evident in my tone. He sighs, running his hands through his hair. I know I messed up. But she's your wife. Not anymore, I cut him off, my voice cold and detached. She's nothing to me now. And as for you, you're no brother of mine. With that, I step around him, leaving him standing in the driveway, a picture of regret. I drive off, leaving the broken pieces of what used to be my life scattered in the rearview mirror. That evening, as I sit alone in a hotel room, my phone lights up again. It's another message from Jenna. Please, can we meet one last time? I need closure. Against my better judgment, I agree. Perhaps facing her one last time will give me the closure I need as well. We meet at a quiet cafe, away from prying eyes. Jenna is already there, looking worn and defeated. Why did you call me here? I ask as I sit across from her. I wanted to apologize, not for the divorce, but for the pain I've caused, she says, her voice trembling. And to tell you, I'm moving out tonight, not tomorrow. I nod, my expression unreadable. Good. It's better we end this quickly. She reaches across the table, her hand hesitating in midair before withdrawing. I really am sorry, for everything. I appreciate that, I say, though the words taste like ash in my mouth. Goodbye, Jenna. Leaving the cafe, I feel a chapter closing, yet the book of retribution is far from finished. The actions I've set in motion cannot be undone, but they pave a path to a new beginning, one where betrayal is left in the shadows of the past. The night air is brisk as I stand outside the cafe, the last remnants of my meeting with Jenna dissipating like the steam from my coffee. I know this is just the beginning of the end. Closure is not as neatly packaged as I once thought. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number, another anonymous tip, but this time it's different. Attached is a video. My heart stops as I press play. It's a recording of Jenna and Mark, not in the throes of deceit, but arguing intensely. Their words, muffled by the wind, are barely audible, but the message is clear. We never should have let it go this far, Jenna cries out. He didn't deserve this. The reality of their betrayal deepens, and with it, a new plan begins to form, a final act to ensure they regret their treachery forever. The next day, I set my plan into motion. I send Jenna a message, pretending to reconsider the harshness of my actions, asking her to meet me at our once shared home to discuss the possibility of reconciliation. Simultaneously, I send a similar message to Mark, ensuring that their arrivals don't overlap. Mark an hour after Jenna. As Jenna walks into the house, her expression is one of cautious hope, but it fades as she sees the coldness in my eyes. What's going on? Why did you ask me here? She stammers. I needed to see you, to understand why, I say, my voice even, as I circle around her, trapping her between me and the exit. But now, I see it was foolish to expect honesty. Confusion and fear flash across her face. What are you talking about? I came here because you said. I lied, I cut her off sharply. Like you lied to me. But unlike you, I won't hide it. You will leave here with nothing. Her fear intensifies. You can't do this. I have rights. Rights? I scoff, pulling out my phone to show her the video. This says otherwise. As she watches, her face crumbles, realizing her fate is sealed. Please, I'm sorry. But I'm unmoved. Too late. I direct her to leave, watching as she stumbles out, broken and defeated. The house feels emptier with her departure, but the stage is set for the final act. An hour later, Mark arrives, his demeanor wary as he notices the starkness of the setting. What's this about? He asks, looking around nervously. It's about truth, I say, confronting him with the same video. I know everything, Mark. He tries to explain, to apologize, but I raise a hand to stop him. Save it. You've lost any right to ask for my forgiveness. Seeing his defeat, I make my terms clear. You will leave the city, resign from your job, and never contact me again. If you do, the video goes public. Mark nods, broken. And Jenna? She's already gone, I reply coldly. And now, so are you. As he leaves, the weight of my actions begins to settle in. The house, once filled with love and laughter, now echoes with the hollow victories of revenge. I stand alone in the silence, the finality of it all wrapping around me like a shroud. I had envisioned satisfaction in this retribution, but instead, I find only a Pyrrhic victory. Jenna and Mark, once integral parts of my life, are now nothing more than painful memories, cut out and discarded. In this final act of vengeance, I realize the ultimate deception was not their betrayal, but the illusion that revenge would restore what was lost. Now, with everything laid bare, I am left to rebuild, knowing that some scars will never fully heal, and the past, once so cherished, is forever tainted by the shadows of deceit.